I've identified the next hot trend in altcoins, and it is not what you think. And that's why I had to go to our 10K portfolio and do an emergency video on an emergency update, and we got to take some emergency profits. Now, this is a video that we started a few months back, and we're just trying to turn 10K into 100K, then 100K into $1 million. And right now, you can see we've got a nice double up. We're right now flirting with $20,000. But the big upgrade we're going to do is we're going to sell one of these tokens, and then I'm going to share for you the next big narrative in altcoins. And the next big narrative isn't a word anyone is saying. It's not on anyone's radar right now, and it's modularity. And we're going to do a deep dive on that in a second. But first, we got to take some profits. And you can see one coin is outperforming the others, and that is NewNet with a 15% pump. And if you're wondering what this is, still a little bit of an undiscovered gem. I would not say, if you don't need to take profits right now, you can feel free, letting this thing ride. But this is an AI play on Cardano, NTX, kind of performing this similarly with AGIX, but it pumps harder and, it doesn't really dump as hard. Now we're heading over to Tap Tools to check out the Cardano alts here. And you can see NTX is now a top 10 coin. When we first identified it, not even in the top 20. And these are the coin's relative performance against Cardano. You can see really it is outperforming every single thing except maybe MELD here, but it even beats MELD on the 30-day chart. Now, in the past 7 days, we are up 2% against Cardano, but we're up 10% just in the past 24 hours. And you can see the price chart right here. This is the 1-day chart. Very, very strong green candle. Now, I think there's still room to grow here. You can see higher lows are starting to form. We might get a little bit of a short-term correction, but, I do think this will still continue to perform well. So I'm not super bearish on NTX. It's just when it is outperformed, it's a small micro cap, and it's already, taken up a good portion of our portfolio. It's time to take some profits. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. And you can see right here, we have $3,240 to deploy. So we're going to go ahead and remember that number. So we're going to go ahead and sell all 44,000 tokens. And then we go ahead and remove the coin from the portfolio. And now it is time for me to give you the next big winner, everybody. But before I do that, I do want to just say one thing about GMX. You can see it's not really performing as strongly as some of the other coins, but I'm very, very bullish on GMX long term. If we go to the max chart here, you can see higher lows, and we got a heck of a trend line forming. And so I would not get rid of GMX at these levels. In fact, looks like this thing is ready to rip here. You can see it loves rejecting off the $60 range. And so, I think it's actually not even a terrible buy. I'm almost tempted to just even load up even more. Very, very bullish on this. If you go to chains on DeFi Llama and you check out, it's an Arbitrum and Avalanche play. Very, very strong projects right there. You go to Arbitrum, the top derivatives exchange. It has revenue. It has total value locked. You do the same thing for Avalanche, and you're going to see essentially the same thing as a top 4 protocol here. Derivatives, number 1, very, very bullish on GMX. But now the next coin we are going to add, everybody, is a popular coin, and it is TIA, Celestia. Even though it is really, really hot right now, it is up 10%. It's largely losing against a lot of its peers here. And part of the reason I think it's going to overcorrect is it's been underperforming a lot of its peers. TIA used to be a top 50 coin, and now you got to scroll all the way down to almost 60 to see it right now, and TIA currently ranked number 57. It's up 11% for the week and 10% for the day, but I still think it's slightly undervalued. Now, we're going to go to the charts here. This is a 6-hour candle, and I wanted to point something out I saw here on the bottom with our indicator from Lux Algo. And a Lux Algo starting to see a little bit of a trigger wave forming. And not only that, this is the important part. Looks like the money flow is maybe starting to trend into the green. I think if the money flow goes into the green, we're going to see some pretty good gains. It's been a while since we've seen this much red. In fact, it's uncharted territory. So for us to flip bullish, there's no telling how bullish this thing could go. Not only that, it looks like a little bit of some momentum, some bearish divergences here as well. Now, there's no guarantee that the money flow is going to start flipping positive here, but I certainly see a little bit of a turnaround happening here on this 6-hour chart. If we go to the 4-hour, you can see, largely a lot of the same thing. In fact, RSI really, really starting to move to the upside. So I think money flow should follow, if all things go as expected here. Now, one more thing I wanted to point out here. You see a green arrow here on the 4-hour, and you see a green arrow here on the 4-hour over there. Now, that pump over there ended up being pretty bullish, everybody. If we go from the arrow, we catch that, you ended up seeing a nice little 50% pump. But before it happened, you can see it actually triggered before the bottom, and it led to about a 10% drawdown there. Yeah, it was about 10%. But we see another situation playing out here, printed before it was done selling pressure. And then what did we see? We saw another about a 10, 15% drawdown right there. So we saw a drawdown, But on the 6 hour, you don't see the buy pressure there, and you are seeing it right here. Now, after the buy signal flashed, we got that extra drawdown. You know, we were pointing that out, about 10, 15%. Got another drawdown. To me, it's really looking like it wants to do another 50% pump from there. And if we get a 50% pump, still not even hitting, new all-time highs. And I think it should hit new all-time highs and kind of hitting to the top of this channel. So I think there's a really, really good pump in its short term, as long as Bitcoin doesn't just crap the bed and go to 50K. A lot of this is going to be based on Bitcoin keeping its bullish momentum. Now, if we go to max, market cap, really don't have to worry about, a bunch of tokens getting dropped on your head here. And I said, why is this going to be the next big narrative? And there's a word no one's saying. It's modularity, okay? I don't want to get too much in the weeds. This is something Tia just reposted. But modular, what is modular blockchains? Well, Google kind of has a definition, but I want to just show 2 tweets from this summary here. First, at its core, the principle remains the same. Modularity, dividing a system into separate components, each tasked with specific features or functions. And the next tweet I want to show off was, there's just 4 main components: execution, settlement, data publication, and consensus. And, I think they're going to invent some more, but Google has an answer too. Largely the same thing: a chain specializing in one or more specific functions: data, execution, consensus, or settlement. But what if modular does end up being this really, really hot buzzword, similar to a ZK snark, proto-dank sharding, UETX. I don't know what all these things mean. I just know it's going to be a hot narrative, and people are going to Google it. The retail's going to come in, and they're going to Google, well, what the heck does this mean? I want to get in on this ecosystem. So I decided to ask Google, well, what's an example of a modular blockchain? I'm just thinking, what if? What if they do recommend TIA just by essentially saying, it's the #1 choice that they throw out? And then boom, if you say, what is an example? They literally say, finally, 4th category is modular, which includes chains like Celestia. And then they throw out a couple different examples. But tell me, don't you think people are going to go to Google and say, well, I don't know what a modular blockchain is. What is a modular blockchain? And then Google's literally going to say Celestia. And so I'm very, very bullish on this. Now, you can actually put it to work for you. We've covered this in the past. There's a guaranteed airdrop happening on TIA. Got a little bit funny story about it too. Milky Way is the TIA app right there. Go to get you a Kepler wallet. We've covered this in the past. Go back. We'll put a link down below to the video. I'm using the Milky Way protocol. They had the first airdrop if you deposited 20. Yeah, not 20. I ended up depositing 20. If you deposited 25, you got an airdrop. I was in different chains. But the guaranteed airdrop, folks, they have these points right here. Then you can go ahead and earn your M points and gain rewards. How it works, you literally just get it from just holding it, liquidity pools, lending, milking points. I'm getting some just by holding 20 TIA. It's a few $100. Didn't really break the bank. And meanwhile, I'm slowly getting myself to qualify for this airdrop here. You can see how many points I've got total. All you got to do is just stake it, set it, forget it. There is a little bit of a drawdown period to withdraw, 21, 24 days, just to let you know. But go ahead and start earning you some points down below. In fact, I'll go ahead and give you a link below to make sure you don't click, any kind of suspicious links right there, because we want to get you guys involved in this airdrop. So let's go ahead and deploy those funds and get us some TIA. $14.22, $14.54. You got to stop pumping, Tia. So we're going to go ahead and make a purchase with the amount of funds that we have, $14.54. And if we do the math with the 3,200 change that we get 222. We'll go ahead and round down or a gas fee or a little exchange right there. And we're going to go ahead and just add that to the portfolio. Go ahead and submit, and now TIA is our #3 holding. I know it's a little bit hot right now. It's up 10% today. It's kind of outperforming Bitcoin, but when you zoom out and you look at the 30-day, You just kind of see how it's performed compared to a lot of its peers. Really think TIA is really set to melt some faces this bull run. And I really think the modular blockchain narrative is really going to start picking up steam, because, breaking down these chains into multiple components and then just having, you execute this, you execute that, then we meet up and we huddle, and then you end up with a stronger, more robust, and more secure blockchain. And if you're a DJ like me and you don't want to just buy TIA on Coinbase and just let it sit there, go ahead and get you a coupler wallet and start gaining you some rewards. Now, when it comes to DeFi, it is risky, folks, so you just got to be careful. Make sure you're following these protocols pretty clearly and make sure you're using the right links. That's why we got one down below. So TIA, big winner. Hopefully that helps you. We're updating this portfolio. We're going to get this thing to 100K, but next stop, 20K, 900 bucks away. We're going to see you there. Go ahead and hit that like button. I'm DZ. See you at the top.